Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I wanted to talk about Juno conjunct to Pluto in the natal chart because you guys have requested this one. I think this is the first time I've ever done an asteroid aspecting a planet in the natal chart, so this is exciting. So Juno, of course, is the asteroid of commitment, and it says a lot about our partnership energy in general, like relationships of all kinds. Also, kind of similar to Venus, we want to look at Juno as well to see how we are in a relationship. And Pluto, of course, is the planet of transformation, ruling Scorpio, constantly creating this compulsiveness about transforming in that area of the sign and the house placement and the aspects of Pluto. So when we have Pluto conjunct to Juno or Juno conjunct to Pluto, I don't know which one you put first when we're talking asteroids. Um, there is a very powerful intensity in relationships. So these people have kind of a similar vibe to Juno and Scorpio, or even Venus and Scorpio. However, it's not the same thing at all as that, but there's just a very plutonic love nature, and you're going to see a real intensity with these people in relationships of all kinds, not just love relationships. There's a real inability to be superficial in relationships when we have Juno conjunct to Pluto. They don't really like to be, at least in my experience, what I've seen, connected to like many people in my experience, like especially in an intimate way. Their energy really works best in a committed partnership with one person. So these people are truly like some of the most monogamous people around when we have Juno conjunct to Pluto. There's a real desire to like be super close, super intimate, super like soul twin flame bonded with the partner when we have Juno conjunct to Pluto. Now, at the same time, they can also have a lot of fears and insecurity around love, and they can be, struggling with issues of control and wanting to control the partner or being controlled themselves. These kind of issues can come up. Sometimes abuse scenarios can come up in relationships as well, and a need to, stand up for themselves can really be a theme. There's very much nothing lighthearted at all in their relationship. So they're likely going to have maybe not too many serious relationships, but the ones that they do have left a profound mark on their heart and their soul. And, when they're sharing stories about these relationships, there is even like a real difficulty in having neutrality about the relationships. It's like everything with Juno conjunct Pluto is taken so personally and so deeply. And so you could really say that these people are some of the deepest lovers around, potential for, incredible deep soul love bonds and loyalty, extremely loyal. But yet their betrayal wound, for good reason, is quite strong here, and they do likely have to go through massive, like, life-shattering events due to relationships. So these people can be, extremely hurt in relationships, like, and it can just feel like for them that the world is ending when they're going through these transformations. And of course, if you have something like a Gemini moon or like an Aquarius stellium or something, that's going to take a lot of the emotionality out of this. So you always have to look at everything, but it's quite likely that their relationships, I mean, there could be movies made about the level of drama and intensity and passion and soulmate connection, potentially violence, potentially cheating, potentially, usually not by them, the cheating, they have this likelihood because they sort of have this soul contract to sign up for relationships that transform them, that they're likely to attract people that they're not going to have a simple union. You know, there can be things come up. It's not always going to be cheating, but there can be some form of betrayal. And it's almost like their soul planned to go through that, not continuously, like I don't mean forever, but like at least one time they are destined to go through a relationship that they're fully committed to in all their heart, or they at least want to be, and yet the rug gets pulled out from under them and it just goes horribly wrong, and there's a huge betrayal, and they're just like totally beside themselves. So there's a likelihood, there's a karmic contract that they will have, I think, at least one relationship that is extremely painful for them, because you can't really have that level of intensity and passion and relationships that are meant to transform you without some hurt. Because a lot of what really needs to be transformed in us, in humanity, is of course these pain points, these inner child wounds, these deep emotional blocks and things like that. And so it's quite likely with this conjunction that there will be something, in a relationship that is extremely intense and painful, but it can end up being an actually very healing experience for them, because they unlike people, with other placements who do the same thing over and over again without learning, these people learn their lessons. They have the Plutonic power strong. You could say, like I said, they're very Plutonic in love. They don't need to learn the same lesson over and over again. They do have an ability to like get gold and wisdom, like golden nuggets of wisdom, out of these extremely confusing or challenging relationships. So they don't, like I said, it doesn't have to happen over and over again for them, but it does usually have to happen at least once, or at least that's what I would say with this conjunction, that something has to happen that is going to transform them. So it's not either a solitary life when we have Juno conjunct Pluto. It is a people lifetime. It is a relationship lifetime. It's an intense relationship lifetime. And you have to look at the sign that this conjunction is taking place in. Of course, if it's taking place in Scorpio, that is going to kind of double it. But, in other signs that are maybe less intense, it's going to be modified slightly, and that is the type of relationship that they will have. Now, I've talked a lot about, what happens to them in a relationship. Now I want to talk about what they actually are like in a relationship, which is, of course, like I've said, they're very intense, they're very passionate, they're very also powerful and seductive and charismatic in all types of relationships. So there can be a real ability to attract the soulmates that they desire without really doing much. This is a charisma, this is an attractive energy field, because it's almost like their energy says, I'm intense, I'm here for, passion, I'm here for this like love of a lifetime energy, and it emits that through their aura. And so they do not usually have as much difficulty in actually attracting these soulmate people to play out this story with them, right? So they also can be, with Juno conjunct Pluto, now there can be an energy of, and you have to look at everything, but of seeking partners for what they have, like, or other people can seek them out for what they have. So it's sort of like there is a Plutonic energy, or with Juno conjunct Pluto, where it's like, yeah, they might attract people with money or power, or dating someone that's a celebrity, or dating someone that's a billionaire, or dating like someone who's just slightly famous in some way, or somehow the people that they date are like gonna have a certain element of power over their life, or the person with Juno conjunct Pluto is having that power over their partners. And like I said, there's issues of power in relationships and control in relationships. A deep part of them is very, very tightly wound up, to do with relationships. They don't find it easy to let go and be vulnerable and relax because there's this real, even if it hasn't happened yet in this lifetime, there's this real feeling and fear and knowing of how deep they love and how, because of that, how deeply they can be hurt. So they don't always have a super warm, kind of friendly vibe socially or like as far as flirting and romance. Because of their intensity, they like to conceal the depth of feeling that they have in some cases. There can also be ability to manipulate or to to get the commitment that they want, because they do want a deep commitment here. They are loyal, they want their one and only. They can sometimes go to manipulative means, especially if they are plutonic in other ways, like they have a Venus opposite to Pluto too or something like that, or like they can definitely know how to work people and get what they want in a relationship from people without being super direct and forward. Just, they know how, they can know how to manipulate. That can be on the negative side. But yeah, this overall, I mean, they're just extremely intense about relationships. They, want their one and only, and they don't likely, like I've said, have a huge amount of relationships unless this conjunction was taking place in Sagittarius or something that could modify that. But they really are here to learn about relationships and go through relationships that are kind of like a form of therapy or energy healing, or like their relationships are not meant to keep them stagnant. They're meant to take them from, one place and where they are in their life to a completely new place in their life. And that's, the nature of what they've come here to learn as far as commitments go, and relationships of all kinds. So there's a real intensity, like I've said, with this conjunction in your natal chart. There can also be issues to do with wealth and power and money and financial things. They're usually going to be very intense about all of these matters, kind of eighth house energy as well, like shared resources. There could end up being some sort of issue there, or something that they could be fighting for, or like it's a lifetime of dealing with things that are, more taboo or difficult or crisis, and usually it's going to come from their commitment in a relationship. They're here to learn, and they're here to also not to sound negative, because once, like I've said, it doesn't take long for them to learn. They are truly destined for that soulmate love of a lifetime bond, and they will not settle for anything less than that. So they will have it. It is their destiny. And to be in a relationship with them is to be with someone who is truly devoted to you at a soul level, and they're incredibly deep and powerful and sexy lovers to have. I'd love to know your experience of this conjunction. If you have it in your natal chart, what has it been like for you? I'd love to know. I'm open to learning more about this one as well, and you guys might have that info. I'd love to know. Thank you for your requests, you guys. Keep those requests coming, and we'll talk soon.